Greetings again, fan, and welcome again to the massive hit cricket show as Edgbaston witnessed history today as Shubman Gill batted England into submission with a spectacular 269, highest score by an overseas captain in England, Samir Malik. How you doing, man? What a day of cricket! What a knock by Shubman Gill. My biggest question, my first question to you, Samir Malik, is Shubman Gill currently the best all-format batter for India?
Absolutely. Hey, listen, we spoke about this yesterday. We said he's going to have a big 100 or a big double century, and that's what he did, right? This is the highest score by an Indian captain, okay, surpassing Virat Kohli's unbeaten 254 against South Africa. And this is the highest score by an Indian batter outside of Asia, breaking Sachin Tendulkar's 241 not out at the Sydney Cricket Ground in 2004. So this was an unbelievable day for Indian cricket. It was a great day for Shubman Gill. As you told me, it's also his highest score in any format of cricket. So once again, hey, listen, this guy is now just getting into his own. He obviously captaincy is doing him wonders, right? He got 100 in the first game. They lost that game. He comes back. He scores a 269. India scored a tremendous amount of runs here in the first innings, 587. And England, in return, lost quick wickets before Harry Brook and Joe Root stabilized them. But I think they're way behind.
Shubman Gill, Samir, did not do it by himself. He had Jadeja, who really also played a spectacular knock. We must talk about Jadeja. I mean, he's quietly perhaps the best all-rounder in world cricket at this time.
He's definitely one of the best. And you know what he did today? He actually broke BCCI's protocols. Basically, the protocol is that teams are going to go to the ground and come back from the ground together. And guess what he did? Early in the morning, he left his hotel and he went right to the ground to practice, get some extra batting in. And he felt that, they didn't want to collapse on day two. They were in a good position at 310 for 5. And that's what he did. Both him and Shubman Gill added another 104 runs to the overnight total before Jadeja was out for 89. So excellent performance by Jadeja along with Shubman Gill. And then remember, Washington Sundar coming in at number 8. He added a significant amount of runs too, along with Shubman Gill. Once again, a partnership of 144 runs that basically got them close to that 587 they finally scored.
Yeah, certainly. Again, an innings by Shubman Gill of technique, temperament, shot selection. Certainly a star in world cricket, a star in Test cricket. His average, I was looking at his average today, Samir. Starting this series, his average was 35. His number in the 40s. It's now just shot up. 2 games as captain, 200s. Gill must be thinking this captain's a thing is very, very easy. But I think, Samir, the most impressive thing about what Shubman Gill is doing, he's not making these runs in India. He's doing these in overseas conditions.
Yep. Hey, listen, not only that, what you also have to credit a lot today is English bowling. Remember, you got to give them credit too, because they made it very easy for, these Indian batsmen too at the end of the day. Look at how, England struggled later on in the day when they came into bat, right? It was very difficult for England to put the ball away today. But, English bowling, I think this is very, very weak bowling. I think that Archer selection is going to come into question now, right? I'm pretty sure he's going to be back for Lords, right? Unless he has some injury that he's still carrying or a niggle or something, he's got to be back because Josh Tongue, 119 runs for 2 wickets at an economy of 4.25, and then Shoaib Bashir, 3 wickets for 167 and at an economy of 371. Both those guys gave up a ton of runs, in this innings.
England in their reply lost early wickets. Ben Duckett going early to Akash Deep. Also losing Ollie Pope for a duck, Samir.
Yes, first ball duck.
First ball duck. England in serious trouble here.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, Zach Crawley kept them afloat until he was also caught behind. It's just a very, very difficult thing to chase 587 down, right? That's what it is. Once again, I think for England, remember in the first test they gave up 480 something, and they were able to come back. But it's not you're not gonna score at par every time you give up 500-600 runs. It's just very, very difficult. England is going to be hoping for Root and Brook to put a partnership tomorrow and try to get a substantial total, but I don't think they're getting close to 587 unless they get a massive innings from one of these two guys.
Yeah, I mean, probably England's two best players here, Samir, and England really, really needs a good start tomorrow because they're under tremendous pressure going into what is this day number three.
Yes.
Just serious, serious pressure.
But remember, Chris Wokes bats at number 8, right? So they don't have a big lineup anyway. So, once again, Ben Stokes and Jamie Smith, and that's it. If India get a couple of wickets, India are well into the tail at that point.
But Samir, here's what I want to know. Baseball, is something that England have spoken about. It's sort of the talk of the last couple of years. Today, England obviously lost wickets. They're under pressure, over 500 runs, traveled at a run rate of just of maybe over 3.5. Is this a reality check for this English team?
No, and listen, once again, when the other teams put up 587 and it's India, India's not going to make it easy, right? And that's what they did. Remember, third over, Akashdeep, guess who he replaced, right? He replaced the great Bumrah. There's a lot of criticism, especially from Ravi Shastri in the pre-game, that how can you drop Bumrah, right? Akashdeep did a Bumrah. He got 2 big wickets in 2 balls, Duckett and Pope. Remember Duckett in the first Test match, he scored that magnificent 149 in a chase in the 4th innings, right? And then Pope had a century too in the first Test match. So you got 2 guys who are centurions out for duck.
What's the first priority for England tomorrow? Will it be trying to save the follow-on?
Hey, listen, once again, if they're going to think about the follow-on, they're going to get the follow-on, right? They cannot think that. I don't think India is going to, even if England is out cheap, I think India is going to try to bat them out of the game, right? That's what they're going to do. So I think, forget about the follow-on. Root is a expert at making runs. Remember, we've already predicted that he's going to be the highest run maker in the world once he's done with his career. So, I think, he knows his job. Harry Brooks, he plays aggressively. So both of those guys will try to get a partnership together. It won't be easy tomorrow morning, but if they can get a partnership in together, and then Ben Stokes and Jamie Smith can give in some useful contributions, they can get closer to that 350, 400. That would be a huge achievement considering where they are right now.
But what is the best England can hope for in this Test match, Samir? 2 days down, 500 and something runs under the pump. They came back from 430 out for free in the last game, getting India out for 470, and they were able to come back and win that game. Is there any possibility of England winning this game?
No, I think they're way behind. Remember, just to avoid the follow-on, they need 387. I don't think India is going to give them the follow-on. Yeah. India is not that kind of a team. What they're going to do is whatever India gets in the lead, which I think is going to be at least a couple of 100 runs, I think India is going to just pile on in the second innings, try to get a couple of 100 runs quick, and then put England under the pump again with 400-500 to chase in a day and a half or something. That's what I think the plan should be for India. And I think that's what they're going to go with. Remember, they have ample time. Only, remember, 2 days gone. There's still 3 days of cricket. On the other side, for England has to, just put away the runs. That's what it is. That lead that India is going to get in the first innings has to be minimal. Remember, minimal means less than 200.
Absolutely. Fans, hop in the comments. Let us know. Is this Shubman Gill's best innings ever? Also, is there any possibility that England can save this Test match? Hop in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear from you on this. Samir, there are not many drawn Test matches these days. Brendan McCullum said last week, he's into winning or losing. He's not into draws. So whatever happens here, we know that based on the way England operates, based on the think tank, and based on what they call clear messaging, there will absolutely be a result here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely there's going to be a result. Once again, listen, Shubman Gill, is a captain who wants to win. He already lost his first test. He's not going to let this opportunity go by. Remember, this 269 that he scored today
Hmm.
is his best knock ever. He wants to make it count, right? That's what it is. Remember, once again, when we talk about Shubman Gill, and I know that his test average is a little bit lower than expected for most people, but you have to remember this guy has a double century in ODIs. And then you have to also remember that he's fantastic in T20s. So this guy is unbelievable. He's done very well. And I'm going to tell you right now, this number four position, he's going to be, by the time he's done with this number four position, he's going to be averaging 50 to 60 in test cricket. That's the bottom
Oh
line.
yeah, oh yeah, he's already in the forties, right?
Yeah,
I
but what I'm
think.
saying is, hey, listen, the reason why he was averaging lower is because remember, it was the beginning of his career and he was opening. Remember, he wasn't playing in the middle order. Now that he's replacing Virat Kohli in the middle order, and remember, he has tremendous opening batsmen in Jaiswal and Rahul, and they're still trying to figure out who the number three will be. They had Sudarshan in the first test, they have Nair in the second test here. They're still trying to figure that out. As that position gets occupied by a regular batsman, he's going to perform even better. Remember, once again, this number four position, we've talked about it in other teams, and we've talked about how important the number four position is. Remember, Joe Root bats at number four. There's a reason why he bats at number four.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to great things from Shubman Gill. Well, India on top here, England in chaos. Let's see how they respond tomorrow. Can Harry Brook and Joe Root pull something special out of the hat? I have a sneaky feeling, Samir, that we might just get a Joe Root special tomorrow, but we
Oh,
will
England
see.
needed, man. I'm telling you, England needed. If ever they needed it, this is the match they needed it. Because remember, I think England made a huge mistake, right? Overconfidence about winning the first test. Remember, they won the first test based off their batting, not bowling. But they
Mhm.
didn't change their bowling. There is no way, I'm telling you right now, that an attack with Vokes, Kurse, um, uh, Shoaib Bashir, and Tang are going to get India out cheaply. It's just very, very tough for them. They might do it 1 out of 10 times, but they're not going to do it 10 out of 10 times. England
All
needs
right.
to make adjustments to their bowling.
All right, guys, we will be back tomorrow for a reaction to day three. As always, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, share, like, share on socials. Malik, great having you as always.
My pleasure, and we're looking forward to day three.
All right, massive hit cricket.